Welcome everyone to another open elective which is Marvels of Science and Technology in Ancient India. And over next 30 lectures we are going to trace the development of scientific and technical thought on ancient Indian subcontinent from Vedic period through classical age into its afterlife under colonial rule and beyond. We will look at mathematics, astronomy, medicine, metallurgy, linguistics, and engineering, among other fields. So, moving forward, we must understand what do we mean by Indian knowledge systems and what does this term really means. The term, which is often shortened as IKS, refers to diverse traditions of organized knowledge that developed on Indian subcontinent across fields such as mathematics, astronomy, medicine, linguistics, logic, architecture, metallurgy, and agriculture, among others. What ties these traditions together is not a single method or a single institution, but a shared intellectual culture, one that valued observation, argument, and textual transmission, and often embedded technical knowledge inside larger philosophical or ritual frameworks. So, the last point that matters is not what it is worth at this moment. In ancient Bharat, science and philosophy were rarely treated as separate enterprises, rather they were the way of life. Such as the physician Charak opens his medical treatise with a discussion of causation and epistemology, not because he could tell medicine apart from philosophy, but because for him the two were genuinely connected. Similarly, the grammarian Pāṇini analyzes Sanskrit, which we will study in lecture 5, is now recognized as one of the most sophisticated formal linguistic system produced anywhere before the 20th century, and it grew directly out of ritual concern with the precise recitation of Vedic verses and Kannada's atomic theory, which we will cover in lecture 4, emerged from school of philosophy Vaisheshika, whose central concern was metaphysics, not physics as a separate discipline. So, I hope I've made you curious enough to go further and dive deep into this particular uh, subject syllabus. So, let's move forward for that. So, let's dive deep into what the syllabus of this particular paper is going to constitute. In the unit 1, we are going to study about the foundations of thought, in which we will dive deep into mapping of Indian knowledge system, its epistemology, and the birth of linguistics and logic. Similarly, if we'll move towards the unit 2, we'll talk about mathematics and astronomy, where we will briefly discuss about how to decode cosmos, what was the concept of zero, what were the early planetary models. Similarly, if we talk about unit 3, then we'll talk about the material sciences and exploring various materialistic phenomena. And when we will walk towards the unit 4, the engineering and its legacy will become our center, where we will talk about how the urban planning, maritime technology were developed during that particular time period. So if we dive deeper into unit 1, then we'll see what Indian knowledge systems primary sources were. Like we'll talk about Vedas, Upanishads, Shastras, Sutras, etc. And we'll also focus on physics, and where we'll talk in length about Kannada and his Vaisheshik Sutras, and we'll talk about Pāṇini and his Ashtadhyayi, grammar as a conceptual knowledge. Then we will also talk about Patanjali and his book Mahabharata. Where we will dive deep into logic and systematic analysis of epistemology. So Unit 1 will primarily focus on Pāṇini, Patanjali and Kannada, and where we will discuss how Ashtadhyayi as a book helped structuring Sanskrit grammar using metaphysical rules and transformations and how we can use them in modern computer programming syntax. Similarly, if we'll talk about Patanjali's logic, then we will talk about how the formalizing human thought and systematic logic was helpful in establishing rigorous analytical frameworks which were required for empirical observations. And if we talk about Kanar, then we will talk about his Vaisheshik Sutra philosophy, which was similar to contemporary concept of atomism in details and length. Moving forward in Unit 2, our focus would shift towards mapping of cosmos through abstract mathematics, where we will talk about three prominent ancient scientists, namely Āryabhaṭa, Brahmagupta, Bhaskara, and so on. And we will further deeply discuss about the Surya Siddhant and the mechanics of sky, where we will discuss about the planetary motions, the trigonometry, and the timekeeping in ancient times. In Unit 3, our focus will shift towards the science of life, healing, and transmutation, where we will deeply discuss about various Samhitas, foundations of Ayurveda, Charak Samhita, Suśruta Samhita, etc. We will also talk about Ras Shastras according to Ayurvedic philosophy. This paper will further focus on ancient insights and its modern applications. Let me give you certain examples, such as in medicine and surgery. In ancient equivalent, we'll talk about Suśruta and his design of 121 surgical instruments and the rhinoplasty techniques. And its modern equivalent is modern surgical tools and structurally identical Sushruta's designs. And we'll talk about physics and matters, where we will talk about Kanada's various theories related to Anu, Parmanu, etc., which is quietly equal to contemporary John Dalton's atomic theory. We will also talk about linguistics and syntax, where we'll see that how Pāṇini's Ashtadhyayi and its auxiliary symbols and its restructurative and reversive rules. So we can also see how that modern computer syntax system can be inspired with the help of this linguistics and syntax system of ancient Bharat. If I further talk about the metallurgical marvels, then we'll also discuss about the crucible or the wood steel, how it was processed during that time, and downward distillation of zinc, and also the passive crystallization theory, etc. in details. And moving forward, the Unit 4 will focus on building of antiquity and navigation of the globe. So the focus will remain on shipping and all the technologies which are related to maritime science and artisanal technology in details. So if we are talking about ancient science and technology, then how can we ignore the urban master planning of Harappan engineers and Vastu Shastra and its relevance? So that would be entire discourse in our unit 4, where we'll dive deep into the grid system, the standardization material, the hydraulic engineering, drainage system and all in length. As you all know that history is the story of continuity and change, so we'll also understand how the flourishing innovative system had faced colonial disruption and how it is reviving itself in modern synthesis in terms of modern scientific discoveries and backing from the government. So we must understand what kind of scholar you will become after completing this particular course. You have to write down 5 assignments where you have to write an essay, then you have to do a problem solving set, then you have to write a comprehensive essay on different aspects and also do some map based work, and also you have to write an end term final project. So after completing this very course, you will be able to analyze the ancient system in this context. You have to identify the major milestones and figures. You will be able to interpret the classical scientific text and also connect your STEM science related information with antiquity directly. And if you have any further query regarding this course, and I hope you're going to join the classes for this particular open elective, So see you in the classes. All the very best. Thank you.